Thank you so much to everyone who has tuned in to this channel. I truly appreciate you. And if you're new here and you enjoy whispered true crime, please consider subscribing to the channel. I post 2 times a week, on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend using headphones if you would like to hear the gentle mic brushing. Now let's get to tonight's case. But please make sure before we get started that you leave it a like. Thank you so much. Okay, so tonight we are traveling to Greece. Shout out to all my friends in Greece. This is the case of Caroline Crouch. Now, before I get into it, I want to warn everyone that there will be mention of animal abuse. It's not the main focus, but it is there, so I am letting you know. So, let's start with some background on Caroline. Caroline Louise Crouch was born on July 12th, 2001 in Athens, Greece. She was the daughter of a retired British gas and oil executive named David Crouch, and her mother was Susan Della Cuesta, who was originally from the Philippines. When Caroline was 2, they moved to the island of Alonisas, and that is where she grew up. And everyone knew her on this island. She was well liked. She was popular. It was said that she was always happy and smiling. She loved scuba diving and swimming and kickboxing. She had a black belt in kickboxing. When she was 15 years old, she met a man named Babis Angustopoulos. He was a 28-year-old airline pilot, very successful, very good-looking, very charming. He was visiting his mother on the island. She was a school teacher there. In fact, she was a teacher at Caroline's school. And just for some side information, his father was a civil engineer slash architect. So anyway, as I said, she was 15. He was 28, so 13 years difference, but nonetheless, they fell in love. And everyone on the island supported it. Her parents were happy. Nobody felt that it was, unusual. So he proposed shortly after their wedding, she became pregnant and then sadly had a miscarriage after 3 months, which was devastating to both of them. And they did start going to some counseling to try to get over it. But she got pregnant again. And she gave birth to a daughter who they named Lydia in June of 2020, right before she turned 19. Now, in addition to being a mother and wife, Caroline was studying statistics at the University of Pyrouse. I don't know if I spelled that right. And they had moved into a beautiful, beautiful home in Nera, which was an affluent suburb of Athens. It was about 40 minutes from there. And she posted lots and lots of photos on social media of her happy family and her ideal life, her little baby, the husband that she loved. Everything seemed picture perfect until it wasn't. So, on May 11th, 2021, Caroline was 19. She would be turning 20 in July. But that morning at 6 a.m., Babis, her husband, called the police. He said that at 4:30 a.m., 3 hooded armed robbers broke in to their house through the basement. He said they were not Greek. He could tell because, of their accents. He believed that they were possibly from a gang. And they went up to the loft, which is where the couple was at the time, like the top floor, and they demanded money at gunpoint. And the thing is, people in Greece keep money in their houses, not so much at the bank, because they have had some problems with banks going bankrupt. So, he did have some money stashed in a Monopoly box. It was 10,000 euros, and he told them that's where it is. He was not willing to fight and have anyone get hurt. But he said that Caroline, since she knew, kickboxing and she was a black belt, she fought with them. And ultimately, they wound up tying up Babis on the first floor of the house. And he was gagged and he was blindfolded and he didn't know exactly what was going on. But ultimately, he was able to wriggle a little bit out of the restraints. He said he had actually fainted at one point because it was so tight. But he got his way somehow to his phone and dialed the Greek version of 911 with his nose, and then called up in complete hysterics to tell, the operator what was going on. So the police came right over. And first thing they found was Babis on the first floor. They untied him. Okay, warning, here is the animal abuse. was sitting next to her mother, crying, trying to wake her up. It was a horrible scene. And Babbis said he didn't even know his wife was dead until they untied him and he saw for himself. Now they had a security camera system, so the police went straight to that. But the SD card was missing. So the robbers had taken the SD card, and immediately the whole area there, the whole community was absolutely distraught. As you can imagine, it was a beautiful area, and this was such a violent, horrific crime, and everyone knew them, you know. It was that kind of a community. Everyone respected Babbis, everyone loved Caroline and her baby. And there had been a lot of robberies and such, but nothing like this. So the case was taken over by the Crimes Against Life Department of the Hellenic Police, and 300,000 euros was offered as a reward for information leading to the capture of the robbers. During the first few days of the investigation, they came to find a 43-year-old man, a citizen of Georgia, the country Georgia, and he was arrested as he was trying to cross the border into Bulgaria with a fake passport. He fit the profile that Babbis had given, you know, of the robbers. So they brought him down for questioning, if you want to call it that. But as they looked at the evidence, they were not able to find anything at all to link him to this particular crime. I mean, he was a criminal and he had committed a lot of robberies, but it was said that he wasn't, particularly violent burglar. You know, he hadn't killed people. So it seemed like it was a big leap. Although I'm thinking, I mean, you could go from burglar to eventually start murdering. You know, I'm thinking it's not that big of a leap to me, but they're saying it's a big leap. Okay, so anyway, he was released because they had nothing on him. Now, he reported to the Georgian media, quote, "I was tied up for 4 days and beaten while they told me to confess to this girl's murder. I did not know what was happening. I had never even heard of this girl. They would take turns beating me very hard. My head was spinning and I had a concussion. When one got tired, the other would then start to beat me. All they would say was, 'Tell us, how did you kill her? How did you get in the house? How did you get out of there?' Ultimately, 3 officers from the Athens homicide squad were demoted for reason of how they treated this Georgian man while he was in custody. So anyway, during the investigation of the house, no traces of a breach of the window in the basement were found. There were no fingerprints, no DNA of anyone other than the people who lived there. They continued to search cameras in the neighborhood looking Another entry, same year. Last night, I fought with Babby because I had a meltdown because of my hormones. I yelled at him and hit him and told him I don't want our baby. I am not well. I am very upset. I know he would never hurt my baby. My love for her is stronger than anything in the world. On July 3rd, 2020, when Lydia was a month old, Caroline wrote, "Today, my little one is a month old. It is also the day I told Babby I want to leave. I feel awful." She continues in the diary saying she found a house in a suburb of Athens and that she was thinking of leaving him before she got pregnant, but, quote, stayed with him because I didn't want my daughter to grow up without her parents, end quote. She had allegedly messaged with a friend on the night of her death, telling them that she was leaving Babis, and it was also found that she was looking for a hotel room that night. You know, she was looking online to book a hotel room so she could get out. Then authorities spoke to Caroline's therapist, who said, quote, she could no longer bear how manipulative he was. She lived under his complete control 24 hours a day. She was locked in the house. She could not go anywhere without his permission. And when she had to go out, he always called the same taxi that a friend of his had. She also said that Babis had put a device on his cell phone to check on the whereabouts of Caroline, and that he had cut her off from all of her friends. Now, when the authorities analyzed Caroline and Babis's cell phones and smartwatches and the security camera, they found a lot of discrepancies between Babis's story and what really seems to have happened. So, here's the thing. The memory card of the security camera was removed at 1:20 a.m. So, that's before the burglars supposedly came. Okay. The burglars supposedly came around 4 a.m. The memory card was removed at 1:20 a.m., according to Babis. Now, when they analyzed Babis's cell phone, it showed that his applications were being used during the time he was supposedly bound and gagged. Okay, so at 12:35 a.m., so before the memory card was missing, Babis is seen in the living room with his daughter Lydia, and he is texting Caroline, who is in the attic or the loft or whatever they call it. At 1:20, Babis removes the CCTV memory card, causing the camera to black out for the next 2 hours. But by looking at the phones, they were able to see that Babis and Caroline continued to have texts back and forth. They were abusive and argumentative texts between the two. That was for about 2 hours. And then at 4 a.m., she struggled for 10 minutes with him until 4:11 when her heart stopped beating, according to her watch. It is believed that at that time, Babbis placed his daughter Lydia next to her mother to create a convincing crime scene. Then he took some time to ransack the house by throwing clothes around to make it look like a robbery. And another mention of animal abuse here. He then drowned their pet husky puppy, Roxy, and hanged her from the banister of the staircase. So with all this information and all this evidence, on June 17th, it's about a month after the murder, 2021, a police helicopter was sent to Alonisas, where they were having the funeral ceremony, and all the family was there. And the police went up to Babbis and they said, "We need you to come with us back to Athens. We found a suspect so she couldn't hit me so easily. I told her to calm down. She was saying, "Get up, leave me, go away," and other swear words which I'd rather not say. Then I took my pillow and placed it over her head. I had no purpose. There was no logic in my blurred mind at that moment. And when I saw her in profile and understood she was dead from her eyes, which were open, and her pulse, I lost it. I began to weep and pull my hair and go back and forth across the room. From the day I lost Caroline, I lost everything. I lost my life. And then he said that he hung their puppy to make the crime look more credible and make it seem unlikely that he could have done it. Quote, "It was impossible to look. I left and went into the kitchen so I couldn't see or hear." End quote. On May 16th, 2022, about 1 month after the trial started, the jury unanimously found him guilty of murder committed in a calm state of mind, killing a companion animal, as well as the misdemeanors of false report and false testimony. He was sentenced to life imprisonment and an additional sentence of 10 years for the execution of the family dog, as well as a fine of 20,000 euros. He was also sentenced to a total of 11 years and 6 months for misleading the authorities. And Caroline's daughter, Lydia, is being raised by Caroline's family in the Philippines. And that is the case. What are your thoughts? I will tell you some of mine. First of all, rest in peace to Caroline. She was only 19 years old, and she had a brand new baby, and she had so many people who loved her and cared about her. Such an unbelievable tragedy. And of course, my heart goes out to her little daughter, Lydia, and the entire family for this horrible loss. So, what can we say? Well, hindsight is always 20/20, and I am not judging anyone. Okay, just want to say that. But, of course, when I say but, when she was only 15, that's like a child. That is a child. She met this 28-year-old man and started a relationship. What does a 28-year-old have in common with a 15-year-old? He can say she was mature, but I don't buy it. More likely, he was immature. But everyone accepted it for whatever reason. Like I said, I'm not judging. I don't really know the culture in Greece. And what he was gonna do, and he very calmly did it. So why? Why would a well-educated, intelligent man do such a stupid and evil thing and think he's gonna get away with it? And he didn't even almost get away with it. I mean, at first people believed him, but once they got the evidence together, obviously it was a big lie. So why did he do it? Well, it's another simple but yet not so simple. If I can't have her, no one can. Because we knew she was threatening to leave and take the baby. Was he afraid for the life of the baby, as he said, that she was gonna hurt the baby? I don't really think so. Usually men like this, I mean, I don't like to generalize, but usually men like this don't really care about the baby under it all. You know, it's not about the baby. It's about their ego. It's about you're mine, you're nobody else's. And if I'm not gonna get to keep you, then you're dead. You know, that's how I see it. That's how I've grown to understand it after all these true crimes that I've done, which is just so hard to empathize with. I mean, obviously, but I mean, I can't even get into that mindset. I cannot even imagine how it ever could make sense to anyone to kill a person because they don't want to be with you. And then what we are all saying is, why the dog? I mean, that's a whole other layer. There is something about a man who would kill an animal, and not even just any animal, his own pet. The family pet that his little baby daughter probably loved. That I'm sure everyone loved, and he probably, even as much as he could, probably loved that dog. One look at the picture of the dog, and who could even think of hurting it? That is just, I don't know. But yeah, after he did this crime, he killed his wife, then he's gonna go and drown this puppy. How does he do that? That is sick, sick, sick. And ultimately now the baby has no parents. She has to grow up with no father and no mother, and she will know that her father killed her mother. But I am glad she has family to raise her, and they took her to the Philippines to remove her from all of this. Not to say that Greece is bad, but just get her out of the environment, take her somewhere new, start fresh. Now I have heard, I didn't take notes on this or really get into it, but I heard that once back